You're feeling goofy.
Uh-huh. Peaceful today, baby. Oh, ah,
Okay, ladies, we are live.
Yeah.
We have two people in the room already. We'll give everybody just a few minutes to get in and see what transpires this morning. I'm sure it's going to be beautiful.
yes, it will.
Meeting. Okay. And say good morning. What were you going to say, Lisa?
Irene and I were talking earlier, and she was talking about the gal who last time we were talking was having the heat flashes.
The hot flashes?
Yeah, I'm going through that right now, and it's like, is this menopause or is this spirit? I'm just laughing to myself. So.
We never really know. We never really know. I've always had a theory. Say hi whenever you get in the room, please, and let us know where you're coming in from. Always had even before I was awakened, so to speak, always felt like, okay, whatever's happening, I'm going to God correcting something in me, and if it doesn't clear up within 10 days, then I'll go to the doctor. And I was the worst kind of mom, because my kids would come up and they would say, look at that, like a little red dot or something on their arm. Look at that. And I would say, I know, look at this, or look at that. And I would show them something on mine, like it's no big deal.
I love that. That's awesome.
Good morning, Catherine. It's good to see you. Thank you for the hugs from Scotland. That's awesome. It's nice to see you. So yeah, so that your hot flashes, it could definitely be spirit. Yes. Correcting something. I can't hear you. Irene, you're having them too? Your volume's totally gone. Your volume is totally gone. Lisa?
Yeah. Can't hear you.
Can't hear you at all. Now, what were those clicking noises you were making earlier?
Oh, the end of Mercury retrograde.
Yes, definitely. Lisa Grassi, good morning. It's good to see you. Guys, y'all say hello as y'all come into the room. We're going to do, this is round 2 with Irene and Lisa from last week. We felt like our conversation could have gone on quite a bit longer. So we wanted to give it a second shot this week and let you guys ask more questions. And while Irene is figuring out her technical difficulties over there.
How is that now?
Oh, perfect. Yay, thank you. We'll be able to say good morning to everybody as you come into the room. So, ladies, Adre Thomas, hi, really enjoy your from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Thank you, Adre, I think is how you would say it. And thank you for being here this morning. Okay, so we were talking last week about several things, about different experiences, different spiritual experiences that we've had. And I don't really remember where we left off. It seemed like, Lisa, we left off with something about the second half of your spiritual awakening. And I don't know why I feel that's where we left off. Hi, Dee. Thank you for being here this morning. It's good to see you. But so let's kind of back up and start a little bit from scratch. For those who were not here last week, I'm going to let you each take a minute and go ahead and reintroduce yourselves and where you're from, if you want to say that, whatever you want to say, and then a little bit about your upbringing as far as spirituality goes, or religion or whatever, and where you are now. So you want to take it away, Irene?
So, welcome everybody, and I am having some issues finding the right headset for me, so I hope that you can hear me. Welcome everybody. My name is Irene Sibley, and I have been, I am come from a Baptist background, and my life has been a journey of awakening and surprises. And I am grateful for the gifts that have been placed in my life. I am a direct heritage of Edgar Casey that I revealed to those of you that were here last week. And I just want to share so that everyone can experience this in their lives and understand and not be in a place of where they're questioning or fear. And I just want to share it with everyone who has this and knows that it's okay and it's safe.
Thank you. So just to expand on that just a little bit, I don't know if you could hear because it was a little muffled, Irene, but she's a descendant of Edgar Casey. And for those of you who don't know, Irene said that she was Baptist, and Edgar Casey was also Baptist, wasn't he? Yes.
Yes.
He was known as the sleeping prophet, and he was a Sunday school teacher, but he was very metaphysically driven.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So Lisa, take it away. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background and where you are now.
Okay, so what I said last week. So I have a lot of Catholicism in my family. Never practiced Catholicism. I became a Christian at age 30, and I've had gifts my whole life that just came and go whenever I guess I was needing of them. And then I went through a few little awakenings, and then I had a big one about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago now. Excuse me. And yeah, I don't know where else to go from there.
Okay.
I'm at a loss for words, I think, today.
Okay, so Lisa says she can't hear Irene, and Lisa is a little muffled. So
Okay. Let me take these off.
Can you hear better now? Lisa, you want to?
All right.
Okay, we'll take it from there.
Okay.
It looks like y'all are both frozen a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I'm sitting so far back too. I'm here. You're frozen.
I'm frozen.
So yeah. So during this awakening, I got to experience 2 Kundalini that were set off by 2 different individual energies that came across my path. The big energy, it was I was hit with a handshake that I couldn't let go of. And then that's when the big one started, where I was
Lost my audio.
like in this bubble. And I was working retail at the time, and I remember having customers come in, and my sales were through the roof because I could see what they were talking about. I could totally see their living room through them. I could totally design, because I was designing things, and the colors and everything. So yeah, I mean, I was just seeing things that I probably shouldn't have seen. It's crazy how when you open up, it just opens up.
Right.
So
yeah. Basically you were able to divine their needs even before they told you.
Yeah, which I've actually been able to do that my whole life. I was a caregiver,
right,
and a gardener, and I never had to look for work because I was word of mouth, because I always had something done that someone was about to come out and ask me to do. I always knew ahead of time.
Wow.
So yeah,
that is really cool. Lisa's a bit better, but is still a bit muffled, is what one of the ladies is saying in there. Okay, so
as good as I think I can get.
Okay.
I'll try to speak louder.
Okay. Irene, let's go back to you. So Lisa was talking to having a few spiritual awakenings along the way, and then a big one. And actually that's kind of been my experience too. Like along the way, little things were dropped, and then all of a sudden this big hello. Have you experienced that same way, or was it all at once for you?
No. And please, can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, beautiful. Please let me know if anyone can't.
Okay.
I'll share with you, my mom passed in April of last year,
Okay.
and it was a very traumatic time for me. I moved from my place where I was living alone to the house that I grew up in again. And during this process, I have had an entire spiritual awakening while I'm here,
All at
and
once.
all at once. Well,
Wow.
not all at once, I apologize, but it's been over the year that I've spent here. There have been times, and I will tell you about one moment in meditation. I felt God go through my entire chakra system, and it was the most amazing time I had ever known. I felt hot, I felt peaceful, I felt this white energy just traveling, and it came from my head all the way down to my toes. And I was like, "Oh God, what are you doing to me?" I was I wasn't really sure because I'd had this, but I think I'd taken it for granted and I wasn't really sure what was going on. And
Right.
then after, but that was one of the largest, most amazing, beautiful experiences that I've had.
Nice. Okay. So the ladies are saying great sound now, Irene.
Beautiful. Thank you guys for your feedback.
Um, so basically you're talking about this wild experience with the chakra system, and that happened after your mom passed while you were in the house?
It happened about 2.5 months ago.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then Lisa, basically what you talked about with this larger awakening was a handshake that you basically couldn't
Yeah.
let go of. And it that is that what prompted the Kundalini experience?
No, the Kundalini came, I'm bad with timelines, a couple months later.
Uh-huh.
I was just, I was just in my room. My mom had just left and I had it just come over me. And it was quite crazy. I thought it was his physical energy because his name popped into my head and I'm like going, what the heck? And yeah.
So
Have either one of you had a Kundalini?
well, that's what I was fixing to ask. Is what Irene was just talking about, was that not a Kundalini experience? It's not the same thing. It was down your chakra. See, I thought that's what a Kundalini was. I don't know. Go
To
ahead.
be honest, I don't know what that even means. So
Me
I'm
neither.
like,
So Lisa,
So it's an
educate us.
energy center. It's the energy center. I think it is in your sacral or in your base. I
that's
have to
it.
remember. Anyways,
Lisa, that
and
was the
it,
primary spot.
Any,
That was the primary spot.
yeah. And so it's an energy cycle that goes through all your chakras and you end up in this wave. Okay. Now for a female, this is why I thought it was his energy body, because the connection between me and him is so strong. So it's for a female. I don't know what it's like for a male because I'm not a guy, but it feels like you're having sex.
So it's like a spiritual orgasm.
Oh yeah, it feels like you're having sex. My vaginals were all working, all the muscles were working, everything through my body. I was just like, what in the heck is this? I had to lay down. So yeah, it was intense.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what happened with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Two different people set it off. And it's interesting because one person hits me in the left of my solar plexus, the other one hits me in the right of my solar plexus. I've been trying to figure out what the difference of sides means. I know the left side can be masculine and the right side could be feminine energy. So yeah, if anybody out there watching knows anything, I'd be curious to learn.
Yeah. So Lisa says, if anybody's watching, she gets one hit on her right side, one hit on her left side. So what is the difference? Is it masculine and feminine? Good question. If any of you out there know. D. Baker wants to know, Irene, do you think your mother connected with you in your meditation?
Always.
Always. Yes. Absolutely.
Always. She's with me always.
Yeah. Go
I
ahead.
actually had a couple of things that I was questioning, and in my dream a couple of days ago, she came and told me that it's okay. Everything's all right.
I love it when we get confirmations like that. Lisa, have you ever had an experience with a deceased loved one where you kind of met them or visited with them in any way?
Yeah, actually, when I was 9, 10 years old, my dad passed away, and he would come visit me often. It was interesting because it was almost like he was in torment. It was a weird, it was an odd experience. My son is also empathic, and there was another time where I was at school, he was at school. I think he was 12 or 13 at the time, and I had a dark shadow sit behind me at school. It kind of was like going, this is eerie. What is this thing doing here? I came home and he told me there's a dark shadow in his school today. Yeah.
Now,
so
who
we
said
both
this?
got visited. My son.
Your son. Wow.
Yeah. And yeah, it was like 6 to 8 months later where a lot of negative stuff started happening in our household. So it was really interesting. And I do see the shadows. I have one or two that hang out with me. I know my dad hangs out with me because when I go to a reader, they'll bring him up, and supposedly he visits different family members through the week. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing. I do sense their presence. I have a girlfriend who I didn't have a clue about. I would house sit her house and I could feel someone there. I didn't know who it was, and then she told me that she thinks her father was there, and then somebody else later confirmed it was her father. So yeah, I can be sensitive, not consistently. Unfortunately, nothing is consistent. Can't wait to get that way.
Sometimes it feels like it's just happening to us, I think.
Yeah.
So Lisa, have you ever, or Irene, have you ever had, outside of your mom, experiences with those who have gone and transitioned to the other side?
Yes.
Yes.
I was 25 years old.
Uh-huh.
I had moved to California, and before I had moved, I became very close to Kathy and Debbie, who were sisters. And she had married a friend of mine, and I was sitting at work in totally different state. She was in Florida, which is where I live now, as well. And she came to me at work and she said, I love you. And I just want you to always remember that I am your angel and I am here for you. And I looked at her and it was a haze of her, but she was standing right in front of me. And then she kind of like went into me and she said, I just want you to know that you are always loved. And then she was gone.
Wow.
And I freaked out. I didn't understand.
How old were you then?
25.
25. Wow.
Wow.
We have a few more people joining us. Hi, Kit Kat. Sandra, can't say your last name, but hi from Portugal. Nicole D. Ward says, hey, ladies.
Hey.
So people,
you know, it's interesting because I grew up with the person I'm talking about set that energy off, and I could always feel him. And there were times in high school where we almost came close together. And you know how you were saying you freaked out when you saw, if it wasn't for the guides making sure that we did not touch when we were younger, I got to imagine if I would have been thrown into a mental institution, because I know how I reacted, and it was bizarre. Even for me, even my girlfriends were like, "This is not you, Lisa. What the hey is going on?" You know. So, yeah, I understand that freak out thing.
Yeah. So and at a young age in high school, you said I would have been thrown into a mental institution because your parents would have thought, okay, Lisa has lost her mind, or they would insist that, why do you say that?
Yeah, because yeah, they probably would have thought I've lost my mind. You know, I have a new perspective on people with mental disorders. Is it a human disorder, or is you've been touched by a spirit that didn't back off the energy quick enough to not damage you? Because I know the energy that I was going through, I was only sleeping for 2 to 4 hours a night for months. I was exhausted.
Oh,
Yeah. And that and the energy, I was hyper as heck. Yeah, I had to go join a gym because my mom's like, you need to do something with this energy. It was crazy.
that's what I was going to ask you. How did you overcome it?
Well, I'm a big hiker or trail walker, and the gym and work, I just tried to stay as busy as I could. Yeah.
Okay, so Dee Baker is saying her daughter sees shadows and people since she's 3 years old, and she doesn't allow. Can you expand on that, Dee? Are you meaning she doesn't allow them to have a conversation with her? What I'm not sure what you're saying. So Irene, have any of you talked about two different experiences, one that your mom's always with you in meditation, and then this friend when you were 25. Have you ever seen darker shadows or darker energies, and what has happened?
Yes, multiple times. Um, there was one situation where I was sitting in a park at a wedding, and it was an impromptu invitation, and I didn't know the couple, and we were sitting along the water, and it was this beautiful setting, and there was a tent, and an outside tent, of course, excuse me, and the opening was open, and I happened to sit in the chair that was directly in front of the opening. And as I'm sitting there, I could feel him coming before he ever got close to me.
Oh, wow.
And I sat quietly because I did not want to bring attention to him because I knew he was coming. And I didn't want to bring attention to myself. And so I sat there, and he went through me, went to the other, went from one side of me through the other, and then ventured on into the water. Well, one of the
Wow.
ladies at the table freaked out, and she's like, "What were you thinking? What were you seeing? Did you see that? Did that really happen?" And I'm like, he was just needing a pass through. That's all he needed. And I don't know where that came from.
Wow.
And I have no idea who it was. There was no interaction. There was nothing, no feeling of anything except for I had this feeling of peace and that it was okay.
To let him do what he did, walk through you.
Yes,
Yes.
there
Wow.
are other, I have had many different experiences in my life that I
Right.
could share.
So Dee is saying that whenever she was saying that her daughter sees shadows and people since she's 3 years old, that she said she doesn't allow the spirits to come. She puts up protection that helps her. So, and this was something actually that, did we talk about that last week, or was that on a different chat that we talked about protecting ourselves?
I think we did a little bit touch
Energetic.
on that last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know how I'd feel about that, because if she's gifted and she's supposed to be helping, seeing, hearing, feeling, knowing in order to do something in this world, and you're keeping her from it. I mean, because just because it's a shadow doesn't make it, like Irene was saying, it doesn't make it bad. for me, the one with me and my son, that was our warning.
Right.
You know, they're not necessarily these evil, dark things. It's just that the child is on a vibrational pattern. Well, one, she's a kid, she's younger, she's still close to her true self, her higher self.
We don't
So
know
I
how
wouldn't be
old
freaked
she
out
is.
about it. Well, she said 3, I think.
She said since she was 3 years old, she's been seeing it.
Oh,
So
since she was 3.
yeah, so we don't know how old she is now. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. I would listen to her and see what she has the child has to say, and roll with it. There are protection stones. The darker the stone, wear one on your left hand. That one I know from experience. It does protect you from things coming into you. Your left hand brings things in, your right hand takes things out. And just make sure that conversation is open with anybody's kids.
Right.
I know it's a scary thing to do, but really you need it. We're coming into a different vibrational level in our world, and these things are going to be happening more and more. We need to get out of the archaic Old Testament biblical way of thinking that these things are so bad, because you know, I don't know if it's 12 to 14, I always confuse the number. These were men that sat on a board that disseminated the Bible, took it apart and put it together how they saw fit to control the masses. And when I was doing my Bible studies, and I had an awesome teacher, when I came up to these hypocrisies within the Bible, she would just go, "It's not a salvational issue, Lisa," because she knew there are things in there that are kept hidden from us, that are in us.
Yeah.
And being able to see these things is a natural thing for some of us. Not all of us are meant to see. You know, we all have different gifts.
Right.
So,
We do.
yeah.
Irene, you have something you want to say?
I do. I have a question for the mom. Is it in a closed setting or in a building that she sees them?
Okay, so whenever we said we don't know how old she is now, she's been seeing them since she's 3. I think Dee was just making a statement, because now her next statement is she has children now. She has children of her own now. She's going to be 29 tomorrow.
Oh, so she's the one who is seeing them.
The child that is now going to be 29 tomorrow is Dee's daughter, who is going to be 29 tomorrow. Now has children of her own, but when that daughter was 3, she started seeing spirits.
Still seeing them.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. She says she protects herself. It helps her to protect herself. So let's talk about that. I mean, if somebody is not comfortable with their gifts and they do feel like protecting themselves, I mean, I personally don't see anything wrong with that, because I think that until we're ready to deal with it, we shouldn't. I don't know. What do y'all think?
If you're not comfortable with them, you can do what happened to me when I was in church. They laid hands on me and they did prayers to take it away, and it was taken away.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a church person to do that. You can have you and any of your friends.
Right.
Where 2 or more meet, there is Christ. So you can do that if you're not comfortable with those gifts.
Right.
Yeah.
Irene, you have something to say? I see you close at hand with that mic.
There's a couple of things that I wanted to share in my experiences. I've had so many that there is a couple of things that I have learned about encountering these entities. They look dark. Their shadow is dark. However, they can even be mischievous. And one thing I do want you to realize is that if they are enclosed in a building, their parameters are the building, unless you allow them to attach themselves to you. and then they can get beyond the building. But normally, if they're within a building, that's where they can only go to.
It's kind of like they're trapped.
I lost something.
There you are. You're back. Is it kind of like they're trapped?
Sorry.
Is it kind of like they're trapped? We might have lost Irene for a minute.
Unless my internet.
Uh-oh. I was asking if okay. So we have some other questions coming in. So uh-oh. Irene went away. There she is. Back again. Gone again. So Lisa, while she's getting that handled, let's ask you this question. One of the girls is saying that she keeps feeling somebody tugging at her shirt. And I'm sure she's not the only person who's ever experienced that. When you feel somebody tugging at your shirt, can we just assume that's a spirit trying to get your attention?
Definitely.
Sometimes.
But is it your shirt, or are they tugging at one of your chakra centers?
Yeah.
Oh.
And who's around you when it's happening?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
You got to pay attention to the thought that's coming through your mind. Is there a person that's coming to your mind? Were you just thinking about a person? Is it actually tugging at a center of your body and you're just feeling it in your shirt? Because it could be multiple things. It could be a spirit, of somebody around you trying to get your attention. It could be somebody pulling on a cord, wanting your attention that way. Yeah.
Wow.
Or if someone just passed you by, it could be somebody attaching themselves to you unintentionally.
Yes.
So Nicole, there you go. It could be a lot of different things. So, wow, that's interesting. See, I would have just said, somebody's trying to get your attention.
Somebody is.
Somebody's trying to get your attention. Somebody's wanting to say hi. Okay, so Irene, back to you before we got disconnected. You were talking about if a spirit is presenting itself within a building, I was asking, does that mean it's like trapped in the building?
Generally, yes.
Generally, yes. Okay. So there's different schools of thought. Dee says that her daughter has twins and she's scared about it, about connecting with the spirits. But Dee says she needs to embrace it. I know. And then somebody said
you can draw boundaries, and that's the thing when spirits are coming to you. And this is something I didn't know growing up. I had terrible boundaries. You can draw boundaries with the spirits and the entities or whatever. You do not bug me at this point in time of the day, because some of them will come when you're sleeping and keep you awake. If it's darkness, go away. You're not allowed. If you have, just whatever the boundaries, whatever you're feeling, and it's for the individual to know what it is they're feeling from the different things that are coming towards them. Right.
And I agree with that statement, because I feel like we are always in charge of our own person and our own space. And they, I feel like, have to respect that if we say, like, people, I often say, I don't play in that playground with the darkness. So I don't even get scared about it, because I just don't even play there. And different people have had different thoughts about that. And some people say I'm, I don't know, but whatever. It doesn't matter. What were you going to say, Irene? Because
I love it. I agree with it. And I have been in positions where they haven't been nice and came unexpected at a time where I was unaware of what was happening and vulnerable and at a very weak point in my life. So yes, your vibration has everything to do with the type of interactions that you will have in your life.
yes.
Now that, my friend, is called a spiritual attack.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
I know.
that is a spiritual attack.
Yes.
Yeah. Those are no fun.
So, is it possible? There's another lady with a question, I think, Kit Kat. So remind me to go back to Kit Kat's question. But so is it possible that even when our vibrations are lower, like if we feel ourselves beginning to sink vibrationally, can we put up a hedge of protection, so to speak, or a bubble of protection as we're going down to keep ourselves protected from those spiritual attacks?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
I would have thought so too, but I just, I haven't had those experiences. Okay. So
Mhm.
go ahead.
I have a process I would like to share.
Absolutely.
Sometimes when
You're starting to
around and you might feel.
Irene, you sound like you're in a can.
How about now?
Now that's better.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to share with you guys that there are times where we get down at times, and when we're, you can't hear me. Doggone it. Okay, how about this? Nope.
That's better.
This thing just is not working. I'm so sorry. How about that?
That's good.
Is that better?
Yeah.
I've worked so hard to find decent ones. I'm so sorry, guys.
No, you're fine.
But where was I?
Just start from the beginning, because you said there's time. We were talking about a process, and you said there's times when something, but that's when it starts sounding like a can.
Thank you. And this is better?
Yeah.
Okay. When the full moon happens, a lot of us get downloads, especially if we're at a different vibrational level. And we can feel a little overwhelmed by how much information we're getting. At least I can. So I used this when I was talking about what Lisa compared to the spiritual attack, that God revealed to me that if I say mirror up. Now, when you say mirror up, you envision a mirror on top of your head and you reflect all those that you are not supposed to receive, and you allow all the good ones to come in that are for your highest good. It is a different process. I have shared it with others, and it has worked and kept them from feeling so overwhelmed. So yes, when you are in a bad situation or you feel like you're under attack, that is what my go-to is.
Right. Mine is I just zip up in a bubble. Sometimes I'll be in the middle of a conversation and mentally I'm zipping up a bubbles just so that the negativity or the negative emotions just go away from me.
And I love that.
Yeah. What is your process, Lisa?
It's kind of similar. I have a vortex that surrounds me.
Oh, okay.
White light, and yeah, it bounces everything off.
Yes. Awesome.
Just like your bubble, except for I can see it spinning around me.
Yes.
So
I love that. Yes.
And I got that from Abraham Hicks for some weird reason. This is one of the, there's just so many weird things that came together throughout these little awakenings that I had. When I came to Christ, all of a sudden, that's when I really felt my hands, and I could see the energy in my hands at that point in time. And I would sit in church, and for some reason, my hand, and this is before Abraham Hicks, I had no clue, my hand would spin like this while I was in worship and whatever. It was just the most bizarre thing. And I think it was because I was protecting myself unknowns to me.
With the vortex.
That was my thing. Yes. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I think sometimes spirit does things for us without us. They intervene to some extent, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I know when I came to Christ, I was underneath a huge spiritual attack. It was huge.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so Kit Kat says she lives in Maine, out in the country, and she has a portal in her backyard, and she's only experienced positive energies from it. Any thoughts?
Nice. What kind of animals are on your property?
So Kit Kat, what kind of animals are on your property? You can let us know that. Okay, so let's see if we have...
that could be a designation of what the portal is about, because the portals could lead to different places and for different reasons.
Yeah. So let's see if we have another question before I ask y'all my question. Yeah,
And can I come visit? I want to go to the portal.
I know I was thinking the same thing.
Kit Kat, we might want to do a field trip.
Yeah, road trip.
Okay, so Lisa does put up boundaries. Yeah, she does put up boundaries. Yes, the daughter does. Okay, how to know what I meant to do? What's my mission? Do any of, because that's a very common question. So do you guys have a process to determine what is your it's coyotes and deer.
Oh,
Coyotes and deer.
interesting.
So while y'all think on that, can we talk and think at the same time, or y'all about figuring out your life purpose, and then we'll go back to the coyotes and deer?
Defining your purpose, whatever it is that you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Whatever makes you feel like a kid and you're just so happy about it, that's your flow. That's where you need to go.
Yes.
Irene,
and
there might be multiple ones that come in throughout your life. It might not just be one.
Different times, right?
Yeah.
Irene, you have an idea?
I have had many purposes in my life, but I have to say the most rewarding one is right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just to be able to do this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so beautiful. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to repeat myself, but I'm so overwhelmed with the openness and the security. And I've been so afraid that, people would look at me and say, okay, what's wrong with you? Even though I do have Edgar Casey in my family, he was ridiculed and people were afraid of him, and my grandparents didn't even want us to, and even any, ancestry research just because of him.
Wow.
And, they just didn't understand him, and I do.
So my thoughts on that are kind of like Lisa's and Irene's. There's going to be different ones, I think, throughout our life. But I was listening to Deepak Chopra. I can't ever know how to say his name. He's talking about Dharma. And that's kind of like our mission, our purpose and all that. And basically he said, what makes your heart sing? And how can you uniquely express yourself in that fashion to make yourself happy and help others at the same time? A lot of times, I think whenever we think about our mission, we think about, oh, it's got to be something spiritual. It's got to be an energy healing or something, something along those lines as light workers. But let me tell you something. I've done readings where spirit has come along and said, basically, in a general reading, your eye contact with people, the way that if you're flipping hamburgers at McDonald's or waiting on somebody at a counter, your smile, your eye contact, if it makes you happy and you generate that through to the other person, you are in your mission. You are where you're supposed to be, as long as you can uniquely express yourself. For a time, mine was real estate. For another time, it was selling cars. Whenever I was in the flow and could kind of do like Lisa and know their needs before they express them, and I love doing it. So it doesn't necessarily have to be something of a spiritual nature. Is all I have a lot of words, y'all. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I love it when you express yourself.
Thank you. Okay, so Kit Kat said field trips welcome.
Yay. We might take you up. You never know. Be careful.
Yeah.
Do for a road trip.
So the deer and the coyotes, you might want to, I don't know where you're at again, in Oregon?
In Maine.
Maine. Wow. Gosh, yeah, I'm definitely doing a field trip there. Maybe I'm wondering if it has anything to do with Native Americans.
Oh.
Because the coyote and deer.
She said that a friend of hers is a medium and a spiritualist, and that's who told her about the porthole.
Ah,
Hi, Catherine Akers. It's so good to see you. Cindy, I don't know if I tell you welcome to the channel this morning. Good morning and welcome here. Does anyone know what it means when you have vivid dreams about people you never met, but you've seen them before and what you dreamed about actually happens? I have dreams that seem like visions.
the precognitive dreams.
Precognitive dreams, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Depending on what they are about. Yeah, because there's so much that goes on in the dream world. So
yeah. There's that, and that's something that Edgar Casey probably talks about, because there's scripture in the Bible that says that God will give you visions, and as a matter of fact, Joseph got taken out of prison and promoted to a high rank within a kingdom because he was able to interpret the dreams of the king. So these dreams are very important, I think. I try real hard to remember mine, and sometimes I'm real good at it, and sometimes I suck.
sometimes they don't want you to remember them. The spirit will wipe them from you.
Think so, Lisa.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And I think maybe it's because they're working on something internally with us, but it's not nothing. Y'all like my grammar? It's not nothing that we need to know consciously up here. Anyway, okay, guys, we're at the top of the hour and we started just a few minutes late. So if it's okay with you ladies, we'll go about another 10 minutes or so and answer additional questions if anybody has any.
Absolutely. I'm so sorry.
No,
And this time has flown by so fast. I can't believe that
I
we've
know,
already
it's
been on
already,
for this length of time. This has been amazing, and I love all the questions. So yes.
yes. Okay, Lisa, you're good for another 10 minutes or so?
Yep.
Good. Okay, great. So while we're waiting, guys, if you have questions, do them on the question marks on the front and the back of the question so that I'll be able to distinguish them.
Well, going back to the dream person. So there's a couple of significant things you should look at when you're thinking about your dreams, because different animals and stuff can mean different things. Like when I was young, I would have dreams about being surrounded by spiders, big black spiders, and the webs would just get more intense while I was going through some stuff. So that's a dream about change. Pay attention to what you're feeling when you wake up, or what you're feeling in the dream. Any colors, sounds, anything like that, if you can, if you want to try to decipher them. And there's a lot of good dream dictionaries online.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah.
One of my intuitive teachers, well, my intuitive teacher, Sarah, who she's visited with us on Deep Dive, she always told us what does the symbol mean to us, right? In addition to the dream dictionary, when we see that or whatever, what does it mean to us? And if it doesn't mean anything to us, then maybe, defer to a dream dictionary or something. But if the symbol has meaning to us, that's important. Irene, well, before I say Irene, let me say she's actually having dreams. She dreamed about a married couple, and that one of them was cheating with the same sex, and it turned out that the woman was, but in her dream it was the man. So I think that's like a prophetic dream, right?
Yeah.
She actually sees the event before it happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
No symbols there. Irene, what do you have to say more about dreams?
Mine are all virtually true. There are no variations. Down to the smallest detail is exact. And I don't remember most of my dreams, but the ones I do remember, I'm very careful to document immediately.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So then she's talking about she's dreamed about animals too. But now Kit Kat's asking, why is it that she doesn't remember her dreams? We kind of spoke to that, but do you want to kind of clarify that a little bit, either one of you? Why do we not
remember? Because you're not supposed to you're not supposed to. If you're meant to remember it, you will totally remember it. Sometimes it's just your higher guides helping you in the human form, work something out that's about to come, that's already happened. Because in the last, I don't know, quite a few months, that's what a lot of the energies astrologically were about, is working out our past grievances, our past ouchies.
Yes.
And they're doing it a lot in the dream world. I was actually taken up into the 5th dimension one night, and that was weird. So we're traveling in our sleep, and we're working some past karmic stuff out with other people and other people in their sleep as well. So I wouldn't be stressed out about not being able to remember it, because most likely you'll run face into it, deja vu at one point in time.
Right. And then the other thing she's asking is, how can she change that? Can we tell her herself, hey, we're open and we want to know what's going on? Or, I mean, what do you think? Yeah.
You can try. I've tried, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, where I say, I want to, you intentionally go into your sleep. I don't know, maybe do it a half hour before you go to bed. And then when you go to bed, I want to be able to remember my dreams for the next 72 hours or however long, something like that. You have to go in with the intention in your dream.
Yeah. Irene, you have something to say also?
Just a note, most of the time when I remember my dreams, it's not in the deep sleep at 3 or 4 in the morning. It's when it's that time between I'm awake and right before I go to sleep, that if I have something important I am to remember or know, that's when I receive it. It's right in between that time frame.
Yeah. And I do believe that it can be like that, and it can be different for everybody, I think, because I've done it like that. I've also remembered them like I wake up from a dead sleep and I'm like, wow, did that really just happen? Or I'll wake up and go to the bathroom and come back, and as I'm dozing off, there's another one or something like that. Okay, so Nicole Ward, about the shirt tugging, she says it gets tugged at the bottom, and she thinks very hard. She had a lot of negative situations her whole life. She's a Taurus, Aries, Virgo. So what do we think? I mean, we already talked about that, but go ahead. Irene just had a big revelation, I think.
I am a Taurus Virgo. I'm a Taurus Aries.
Okay.
Did I get it right? She's a Taurus Aries?
Taurus, Aries, Virgo, yes.
Yes. Okay. I am all 3 of them. And this is you're very open and you don't understand how open you really are. And your gifts are hidden. And if you ask to receive and be open and just spend time in quiet. And Cheryl described it one time as a lazy meditator. Well, so am I. I'm most comfortable lying down because I have health issues. But when you do that and you are surrender, you're open and willing and ready to receive the gifts that you are supposed to be able to see and learn, you will open that portal. But that's telling you that something is within you that you're not aware of, and it's okay and it's safe. And under his guidance, you will always receive perfect and open love, and it will be okay. And there's nothing to fear.
Okay. So you kind of feel like a little bit of fears is why it's tugging and not just coming through. Yes.
Right. Just you don't quite understand it, and that's okay.
Right. So Dee wants to know, do either of you sleepwalk? I don't, Dee. Do either of you ladies sleepwalk?
I've been known to sit up straight in the bed and start talking and catching butterflies.
Yes.
Sleepwalking, no, but it's sitting up in the bed and doing strange things. Yes, I've been told I do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Irene?
Yeah.
Hello. I think you froze on
You're
us
frozen.
again.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry about this today. Can
It's
you hear me
okay.
now?
Yes.
I am a big talker in my dreams. I don't remember them, and no one can interpret what I'm saying, but I'm talking, and I do know that I travel.
Yeah, that's really cool. I don't think I've ever sleepwalked, but my kids used to laugh at me because they would come in and ask me a question while I'm sleeping, and I have a whole conversation with them. And whenever I wake up, I have no memory of it at all. It's like they could come say at midnight, "Hey, mom, could I take the car and go blah, blah, blah?" Even though they know that's a no-no. And I would probably say yes. And they would go. And but mom, you said. But I remember one time they were cooking breakfast, or their dad was cooking breakfast, and they came to see what did I want, and I gave them this big old grocery list about what I wanted to eat and what I wanted to drink, and it's like I didn't know.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Okay, guys, listen, we're going to go ahead and call it a day. We're about 10 minutes after the hour. I think that's about when we started. Lisa, her daughter does also sit up in bed too. Her daughter that has been, Dee was saying this. Her daughter that was having, that has the bubble around her protection.
Yeah.
So Irene and Lisa, I want to thank you guys so much again for giving us your time and letting us look into your journeys as far as this spirituality stuff goes. And thank you for your take on things and your willingness to share your ideas and the processes that you use. And guys out there in YouTube land, thank you too so much for spending your Saturday morning with us. It's always a joy to visit with you, and it's always a pleasure to hear your questions and find out everybody's input on them. So ladies, if y'all have anything if y'all want to say, it's a salutation at the beginning, and what is it at the end?
I don't know. Goodbye.
Yeah.
I have one more thing I want to say though about the girl who gets tugged at with the shirt.
Okay.
It could be that she needs to, because she said it was at the bottom of the shirt. So I'm wondering if she needs to ground herself. And it depends on if it's coming from behind her or in front of her. But another way for meditating is go for a walk in nature until your mind is spent, because we tend to talk to ourselves in nature and then you have nothing else to say, and then sit down with the nothingness in your mind and just be.
I love that. What a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can't sit and meditate either.
So Nicole, I don't know if you heard that, but she said that because you're getting tugged at the bottom of your shirt, perhaps it's about you need to ground. And that could mean something as simple as go walk on the beach barefoot, or walk in the yard barefoot, and, lean up against a tree, that kind of stuff. From behind, tugged at the bottom from behind. Yeah, I think that's grounding. Yeah. Okay, so and so is that your goodbye, Lisa? Do that.
Peace out.
Okay, but y'all are gonna hang tight for after we finish this, right? Yes.
Okay, yes.
Irene?
Yes. I did want to take a moment, if I may.
Okay, yeah.
I have set up an email specifically for anyone who would like to reach out to me. It is C Daughter, which is SEA Daughter, DAUGHTER 57 at gmail.com.
Okay.
And I'm always open to questions.
Okay, so I'm gonna repeat that just because it did get a little muffled in there. So to reach Irene, she has set up an email specifically if anybody wants to reach out to her with questions or chit chat, I would assume, about this journey. And that email address is cdaughter57 at gmail.com. And that's SEA, like the C, daughter 57 at gmail.com. So if you'd like to get in touch with Irene, you can do so at that address. Guys, again, thank y'all so much. Irene and Lisa, I'll see you two on the other side. And all you out there in YouTube land, thank you for spending Saturday morning with us. Love you all.
Thank
Have a-
you,
Yourself.
everyone.
Have a super duper day.